Okay, listening to the closing announcements for today's net on W4HTP down in Mount Mitchell, North Carolina. And we'll start here on the RATS net shortly and be using the Motorola Motorola Radius CM300 to participate in the net. And we'll see what else unfolds for tonight. It's been fairly quiet down there at Mount Mitchell this day. I was going to say this week, but today. I think day's number 6 of the Hurricane Helene event. Some people have already received power back. Lots of supplies, donations. Starlinks have been passed out, and some people actually have power back. So they're starting to get things cleaned up. They're getting their garbage collection ready to go. There's net control.
The Richmond Amateur Telecommunications Society net. Calling the Wednesday night RATS net. I want to welcome everyone back to the RATS net, which is held once a week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. on the grade 442.550 repeater. This repeater uses a positive offset and a 74.4 PL tone. My name is Rob, Romeo Oscar Bravo, and the call sign is Kilo Bravo 2, Oscar Yankee India, that is KP2OYI, and I will be your net control operator for this evening's net. Before we get things started, if there's any stations on frequency having emergency or priority traffic, so please call now.
Such a heavy breather on the microphone.
Nothing heard, but if anyone that's having emergency traffic, just please call break, and the net will yield for your traffic. I know we call that out every time we start a net, and a lot of times it seems very routine, but given the storms and everything that has happened last week, I'm sure a bunch of folks have been monitoring what's been going on with the MCOM down in North Carolina. Definitely, if you haven't done that, I would suggest you look that up and find it just to see how ham radio has really been put to the test and utilized in a real-world manner. So it's been pretty impressive what those folks have been able to do to help people out down there. So it's good job for the good exposure for the hobby for sure. All right, once again, we do the net Wednesday nights. Encourage check-ins regardless of your location, affiliation, or license class. All properties and amateurs are always invited to participate. And the purpose of this net is general fellowship within the local amateur radio community. And again, if folks ever have any questions that we can't give an immediate answer to, we at a minimum try to at least get you steered in the right direction. I don't think I have a topic of the night tonight, so we'll just go freestyle, and I don't want to share what they may have done radio-wise over the last week. By all means, have at it. With that said, let's go start filling up our list. So when checking in, please give your call sign and first name. So exactly helps me out even more to build up that list. Please, if you have any announcements or traffic for that, we like to handle the traffic first, and informal comments after that. All right, mobile portable stations wishing to check into the net, please call now.
This is Delta 4 India Romeo Bravo, Mike in Hanover, no traffic.
That's the only portable? Where's Ron?
All right, I recognize this KD4 IRB. I'm sure there's more folks out there, so let's start building up a list with the general check-ins. General check-ins, wishing to check into that, please call now.
Yes. Kilo Oscar for Uniform Oscar Romeo Scott.
Why's everybody got to be different?
This is Kilo Quebec 4 Romeo Alpha Mike Will. This is Kilo Oscar 4 Victor Echo Mike David. This is Kilo Quebec
Net control, this is.
Delta 4, Lima, Uniform Delta, Mark in Mechanicsville, in and out.
Try again. Nope.
4 Zulu Alpha Kilo, John, in and out. This is Kilo, Quebec 4, Mike, Echo, Foxtrot, Mark.
Net control, this is. William, Kilo 4, Alpha, Romeo, X-ray.
Control, this is Kilo, Quebec 4, Uniform, Juliet, Mike, Al.
For those of you who don't know, I'm making a log of the net, all the check-ins, and net control. Common practice for myself, could be common practice for regular operators, definite practice for net control, like a backup
Quick
log.
rundown here. Net control recognizes UOR, CEM, RAM, FVL, EXX. KD4 LED Mark in and out. Have a good night, sir. Thanks for joining us. And K4 ZAK John in and out. Thank you also for joining us. MES, ARX, and UJM. Let's go through about half the list here, and I'll go ahead and make another call for additional stragglers to join in, and then we'll just proceed from there.
While they do that, I'm going to go refresh my cup of coffee, and I'll be right back. Just listen in.
This is by no means formal traffic or an announcement, just an observation to maybe help those on air this evening. Over 4 years ago, when I jumped in and became part of the net control rotation, we were running the net 7 days a week at the time. Given what was going on, and mostly having folks be able to check in on each other if anyone needed a ride or something picked up from the store, and also reporting where there may be paper products, i.e. toilet paper, available in town. So, just an observation. Went to the grocery store today after work, as I usually do on Wednesdays, and there already appears to be a run on said paper products, given what's going on down on the docks. So, again, just a little tidbit of info there. Maybe you are not observing that, and I don't know what they would do, but it's like living a nightmare again. But just keep that in mind. With that said, let's start top of the list. KD4 IRB, Mike, good to hear you, sir. Your comments for the net.
KD4 IRB, good evening, Rob. Good evening, everybody on the net. Well, there's not much I could report from this part of the channel. Finally started drying up, so I could clean up a little bit and do some work outside. And I remember to plug in my radio to charge the battery, which again is a good thing. I hope it sounds good. Otherwise, I'm working on a couple of projects, but I tell you, it's not easy anymore. My finger is not flexing anymore as good as it should be. My eyesight is not as good as it should be. But I still managed. So tomorrow I continue the cleanup, and hopefully we get a couple of good dry days, so I could finish up the job in here. Otherwise, that's about it. I'm doing okay. It's tough to be alone. I have to do all the housework, all the cooking, decided, and all this. It's not an easy life after some years. KD4 IRB.
Hi, Mike. Renee, it's good to hear you. I know you always keep busy, and you stay busy with projects more than anyone else I think I've ever met before. They just do what you can do. thing is, you know, you have a whole network of buddies on air. So if you ever did need a helping hand with anything, just pick up that microphone and call out. Your folks with your familiar voice and call on and be glad to do what they can to assist you in any way that you may need it down the road. All right, we will clear with Mike. Let's go to our good buddy Scott at KO4 UOR. Your comments for that, Ted.
And that's the difference between a Baofeng and an average amateur radio or a commercial radio.
First of all, good job there on the 10-meter report. That's today's DX there. So, good job there with that. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, you know, as far as being on the HF bands and calling CQ, I find that to be enjoyable, and I do kind of wish more folks would get into it. Now, the soda pull away from that, I imagine it so. I mean, it's a numbers game of operators on air and what they may or may not be doing at any time. But then again, I think soda is really brought more operators either out of a state of inactivity or newly licensed operators to fill their bands with activity. So I think it's kind of like give and take. And, you know, soda is definitely fun and soda chasing, but yeah, it's definitely not, you know, rag chew. It doesn't necessarily have to be DX rag chew. You know, I know I have a lot of great time on air, you know, shooting the breeze with folks in Missouri, Texas, Alabama, whatever. You know, you never know where the conversation's going to go or find, you know, commonalities on what you've done in life, things like that. So, all right, well, thanks for sharing that, Scott. We'll clear with you. Next, I'm going to go, I heard your voice first, so I acknowledge you first. KO4 VEN, David, good to hear you. So your comments to the net.
Good evening, Rob, and everyone on the net. It's good to hear everybody, and I kind of look forward to this Wednesday just to hear the familiar voices and like old friends, you know, it's so kind of clear. I referenced your comment earlier, Rob. My wife was at Target in Mechanicsville earlier today, and she came home and noted that a lot of shelves were bare in areas. So hopefully it's not a sign of things to come, but maybe they're just a little bit behind the stocking. It's interesting that you mentioned that tonight. Radio-wise, I've been trying to figure out how to get my mobile installed in my car for a while now. I finally got it in here this week, so I'm hoping I'll be able to be on the air a little bit more often on a normal mode. And I also observed all day today, in and out, that I've had the
your net control. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's good to come here and, I'd say we usually do about 2/3 of regulars, I'd say, which is good. It's always great to welcome new call signs that we may not be all familiar with. But yeah, it's definitely a fun little mini meetup we did here on Wednesday for sure. And thanks for echoing what Scott said. I think when I got home from work tomorrow, definitely going to turn on HF. Definitely this weekend. I was out camping last weekend, so there was no ham radio for me. I was not a good ham. I didn't bring any radio with me. Different type of camping. But either way, it's good to know that the ham is definitely. All right, speaking of some newer call signs, let's go next to Will, KQ4RAM. Your comments for that? Hello, Rob. This is Will, KQ4RAM, Eastern Hanover County. And yes, I believe this may be my first time checking into the RATS net. I'm actually on a tri-band HT radio here in my living room, so I'm not up in my shack. But even if I were up in my shack, I don't have any radios that can do 440 megahertz 70 centimeters. So I usually have this radio on downstairs on scan and heard the net come on. So this is cool. And I've always been able to really get this 440 signal pretty clear with this radio. So participate in this one. Here's some familiar names on the net. Here's some names I haven't heard before. So appreciate you allowing me to participate. I'll try to make this a regular occurrence. And I'll say 73 to everyone. Back to net Q4R8. Hello, we appreciate you joining us. Hanover is doing a fine job. I'm out in Hanover County for sure. So yeah, feel free to join us every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. We appreciate having you in the net for sure. All folks that have already recognized, please stand by. I'm going to do another call out for check-in to try to expand the list. Now, this is KB2 OYI with the RATS net, looking for additional check-ins. Wanting to get on the list and participate. If you're out there, please call now. Control, this is KQ4UJM now.
Sort of checked in.
Recognize this KQ-VIZ and KQ4UJM. Al, I did have you on the list, so please stand by. We'll get to you at your original check-in spot there. Peter, stand by. We have about five stations ahead of you there. First thing, KQ4FVO Ken. Good to hear you tonight, sir. Your comments for the next. Go ahead.
KB2OYI, this is KQ4FPL. Not a whole lot going on here. Looks like we're going to dry out a little bit. Thank God. I'm a little tired of the rain, to be honest with you. I know we needed it, though. Haven't been on the radio a whole lot this past week, so just trying to get things done around the house, and that worked. So I do want to check out some of the relief efforts going on. If anybody has information, I just went on the ARL site to get a little information. But if anybody can holler out, tell me what frequencies they're looking at, I wouldn't mind checking that out. So with that, I'll send it back to net control. 73, everybody.
Hi, Ken. Good to hear you there. I know a lot of folks have been listening to it online. active and whatnot. So, definitely help you dial that in. All right, Ken, good to hear you. And next we've got K4EXX Don. Your comments to that. Good. All right, good evening, Bob. This is K4EXX over here in Chester. I haven't done much on radio this week. I've monitored you. That's about all the time I've been around monitored, but haven't actually got on it much. Called out for a couple of people a time or two, but evidently they were away from the radio, so I didn't really make any contact. I've been working on my Morse code. I've got a program on my phone that lets me, shows me a keyboard, and it'll play sounds, and I have to touch the correct key. I can make up to 5 mistakes. If I make more than 5 mistakes, I can start over. It gets kind of frustrating. It's not near as much fun as keying. Learning sounds is not anywhere near the fun that keying is, but it's something that has to be done, I suppose. I'm looking forward to the Simplex Net this Friday night. I think it's at 7, if I'm not mistaken. And Scott will be running it. He does a wonderful job on that, and he is in a location where he can pick up people from both sides of the river, north and south, and people from the east and west. Kind of in a central location. So if I can't hear people up in Goochland or Powhatan, he kind of lets me know what they're saying. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. So 50 degrees, everybody. I hope everybody has a nice rest of the week. From what I can tell in their area, it's supposed to be really dry and no more rain for a few days. I guess everybody keep the people in the southwest part of the state, the southwest part of the East Coast there out.
Repeater ID and Morse code.
Good to hear you. We got most of that. You were actually fading in and out from your transmission there. If you're really taking your ball off your mic, so I'm not sure if you were moving around or what. Yeah, but we got the majority of that. I think the tail end you may have actually find out from the computer too. But yeah, we definitely got a bunch of that. And as far as the Simplex net too, there is also information posted on S4POW's website. We should have a link on there and things that get you access to a supplemental Zoom during the Simplex net, just in case you can't hear everybody. Kind of gives you another resource to watch the net in action as well too. So definitely a fun exercise for sure. All right, next on the list we've got Mark KQ4MEF. Your comments on the net. Go ahead, sir.
Hanover machines, Boise. Like another Chinese radio up there.
Appreciate you checking in tonight, and
That's better.
yeah, with everyone else, definitely would like to cut the grass. Hopefully on Friday. I don't like to cut the grass on Saturday. Saturday's for fun stuff. So, yeah. But again, thanks for joining us. Always good to have you here. And again, this is KB2OAI with the Rats Net. Next on our list is our Chaco Valley station, William K4ARX. Your comments for the next set. Go ahead.
Net Control K4ARX here. Like you said, down here in Chaco Valley, just east of downtown. And you're loud and clear into the repeater. I don't know. I think you said that we don't have a subject for the net tonight. Some experiences were shared. I had been listening to the W4HTP over there at Mount Mitchell, and it's been a little bit more quiet today. I've listened pretty much most of the day today as I went shopping and back, and they're doing their closing comments now for the net tonight. Not a whole lot going on. I've been paying attention more to this net than that one, so I don't know what they're talking about, except for some of the drop-off locations and garbage and whatnot. But pretty good day today. Got some bills paid. Got a few things coming in, and we'll see when they're supposed to be here tomorrow. I guess I thought they were supposed to be here today. But anyways, that's about it. It's going on here. Everything's very well and good. And back over to you, Net Control. KB2OYI from K4ARX.
All right, well, good to hear you, and I hope you're doing well down there. And let's go next on the list to Al, KQ4UJM. Welcome to the net. Your comments, sir. Go ahead.
I think he was in and out, Rob.
I'll try it again. This is KB2OYI with the Rats Net. Next on the list is KQ4UGM. Al, go ahead, sir.
This is most likely what they're using as a Chinese radio. That's why the audio sounds different than Net Control or perhaps mine.
UJM. I think I have a misconfigure on my radio, which I will fix. Yeah, the weather has been kind of crazy, and people go crazy when the weather goes crazy. Like when it snows in Richmond, there's no bread or milk ever in the stores. So that kind of makes sense. My wife and I went down to Belle Isle this morning and took a walk, and the river was actually washing up on part of the trail on Belle Isle. So it's pretty darn high. Hopefully it's going to crash tonight, from what I understand, and that'll change. Beyond that, I'm a newbie. Got licensed August 3rd. Got my ticket, and I am planning on taking my general.
And he's gone. Earth to Al.
Hi, this is KB2OYI. Al, I think you dropped off there. I'm not sure if it's time to repeat her after or move to a bad spot, but regardless of that, welcome. We're glad to have you both new to the hobby, and welcome to our nets. And if there's anything any of us can ever do to help you out along the way, just reach out. This is a great place for resources. And, I don't think people are buying these paper products right now, and
well, that's right.
Fear of weather. I think the situation with the longshoreman strike is going to be our problem, a major problem. So I would stand by for that. My phone here, if they want to call me, just call me up next. All right, Al, thanks for joining us. And next to your KQVIC Peter. Welcome to the night. Good to have you. Your comments, sir.
I had no problems finding anything at the K. Roger this morning, or the Publix. They're shopping in the wrong stores.
Invite, I don't check it often, but just want to poke in and see how many folks are there. Thankfully, we got an active net. I'm just continuing my work to enhance our coverage. So make sure not to forget the November meeting. It should be a good presentation.
And I'll tell you what, ever since we moved this over to from the 88 to 442, it's been real welcoming. The performance is, heck, it's allowed me to be a much more effective net control, because I have been rather unreliable for the last several months, unfortunately. And folks seem to be making out all right on this net with the analog. And for those of you who don't know, if you use DMR, here at KPVIZ is instrumental in the speaking way out of terminology on that, but he's a DMR guy and the DMR guy, and he posted on Rat's website, rats.net, for some other additional DMR related seminars, forums, and things like that for good information. All right, that was the end of the list, so let's go ahead and do this. This is KB2OI with the Rats.net looking for any additional check-ins. If you're out there, please call now. This is
Double.
This is Kilo November 4, Victor Alpha, KN4VA, Michael.
Ow. What the hey?
It qualifies there. KN4VA, Michael, and then there was a station ending in Delta Radio. Let's go to you first. Station ending in Delta Radio. Please give us your call sign, your name, and your comment. Fine business there. We appreciate you checking in. And again, we're here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on the 442.550 for now. And hopefully going forward. And yeah, we appreciate having you. And look forward to you checking in again. Next we've got Buddy Michael, KN4VA. Good to hear you, sir. What you got for us? KB2OII, this is KN4VA. Thanks, Michael. I'm in Midlothian, and I have been, everybody's been coming in loud and clear tonight. Let's see. So in regards to radio, I've probably spent most of my last month or so working on DMR code plugs specific for excuse me. Let me take a nickel.
Bless you. Take a nickel. He's going to break.
I'm working on code plugs that are specific to radios. And so through that, I'm building radio-specific code plugs, and I'm also learning more about some of the CPS of some of the less expensive radios. So it's been a challenge, but it's been fun. I am surprised that toilet paper is such a on demand because toilet paper is produced domestically. So I don't know why people feel like they got to take a run on it because, well, tractor trailers pretty much are going to distribute that across the U.S.
Yeah, they make tissue paper up in Pennsylvania. I used to carry that for Dollar General.
Manufacturer, so we've been told that the strike goes on more than a couple of weeks. We're going to be in some trouble because a lot of our parts that we get from Germany and Ukraine that are specific pieces of parts are on the boat, and we won't have things to build our machines, and we have a lot of international orders sitting on the floor right now, and we may not have a way to ship them out. So it's going to get interesting for people who depend on container and shipping from other countries at this point. So
I think it's going to be a while.
It doesn't go long, and I hope everything. It's just a bump in the road. But at this point, we'll have to wait and see, obviously. But with that being said, Rob, I'm going to pass it back over to you and 73 to everybody on the net tonight. This is KN4VA back to net control. So good to hear you, sir. And sound definitely busy working on code plugs. And yeah, I'm not a DMR guy, so don't know what that means. But I know that that's definitely something you guys talk about. But yeah, as far as speed bumps, at this stage in life, I would welcome speed bumps. I think now we're just running into a constant barrage of potholes. Kind of the potholes I grew up with in New Jersey. But I'll just leave it at that. All right, that's the the end of the list, so let's go ahead and do this. This is KB2OYI with the rats that have been for any last call straggler check-ins. So last call for check-ins. If you're wishing to get in before we close down the net, please call now.
That's it. 14 check-ins.
All right, nothing heard. So everyone must be watching playoff baseball, which is what I'm about to go do. So I want to thank everyone for joining in. We had a really good turnout today of regulars and some new guys, some returning folks. So appreciate having you, and look forward to doing it again next Wednesday night, 7 p.m. I hope everyone finishes the week out strong and has a mighty, mighty fine weekend. And with that said, this is KB2OI. Going to close the net down, return the repeater for regular amateur radio usage, and I'll be clear on my final. 7-3.
That was way down.
Let's see. Kilo, Oscar, 4, Quebec, Alpha, Echo, Alpha.
Good, Scott.
Kilo, Oscar, 4, Uniform, Oscar, Romeo. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question for somebody. Scott?
It sure is. This is Scott.
Yeah, I had a question about the 146880. What's going on with that?
I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but in my simple mind, I would say that they have flipped the two repeaters. So the 146880 machine had become unreliable, I guess you might say. And so they moved the fusion capability from this repeater, 442550, over to the 88 machine. And now the net that used to be on the 88 machine is here for the foreseeable future. So both repeaters are still available, and sometimes the 88 machine behaves very, very well. Anybody else on frequency want to add to that explanation?
Yaesu Fusion is a digital feature for Yaesu equipment. Yaesu specific, like Motorola and their
Okay, what about 145?
DMR, I guess. Kind of like NXDN.
I consider that to be my home repeater just because I'm a little bit closer to it. 145430 is, let's see, we use that on Thursday evenings at 7 for the Metro Richmond Aries net. So that'll be on the 543 machine tomorrow at 7. And I'm trying to think of other activities on that repeater. Can't think of any other nets that are scheduled on the 543 machine. But yeah, that's still a really good one. As you probably know, the 543 repeater is on the channel 6 tower on Broad Street. This repeater and the 88 machine are on the channel 23 tower at 23 Sesame Street, just behind Chesterfield Town Center. Over.
I thought NBC was channel 12.
Okay, I appreciate that. I've been trying to get on it.
catch what you said last. You said you've been trying to get on the 145430 machine.
No.
I believe the tone is the same as for this machine, 74.4. But yeah, if you toss your call sign out on the 543 machine, you should have somebody come back to you. I'd say 7 times out of 10. Over.
He was making reference to the RATS machine.
Okay, thank you. You have to forgive me, my voice is messed up. That's why I don't call in anymore. I appreciate the information. And Kilo Oscar 4, Quebec Echo Alpha, clear. Thank you.
You are more than welcome, and your voice sounded fine. So join us whenever you can on this net that just concluded, and the Aries net tomorrow evening. It's very similar, but usually has a topic. Anyway, KO4 QEA KO4 UOR 73.
73 means best regards. Normally reserved for Morse code or continuous wave CW, but they'll even use Q codes, which are also meant for Morse code. It just makes things brief, abbreviations. It's easier to send it out. I don't know why they still say that today by voice. It's kind of like saying LOL, ROFL. It's not, no. Anyways, that's the net, and that's these guys. Thank you for joining us. If you're a new subscriber, appreciate it. Like and share with your friends. Thumbs up if you haven't already. Well appreciated too. And we're here every Wednesday and Thursday night for each net. The RATS net on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock Eastern. The Metro Richmond Aries net on their repeater Thursday nights at 7 o'clock also. On the very rare occasions, we'll have a simplex net where we just talk radio to radio direct, and that's on a separate frequency. If they ever get around to it again, I don't know. All my antennas are right inside, so it's kind of hard for me to do without repeaters. I don't necessarily need repeaters, but I use them frequently, especially throughout the day for some of these guys. And we carry on not quite as often as they do right now on W4HTP, but during the day, and we're going to have a marathon next month. We're running the net for that. I won't be running the net, but participating, probably watching the runners as they go by and passing out water and running those stations as well for some of the public service events and practice. So we'll see what goes on there. Probably won't be any video if I participate in the marathon. There will be media coverage, I'm sure. Somebody will cover it. That's the repeater ID again. That happens about every 15 minutes or so. Kind of a requirement for repeater trustees, and it helps us find, especially by the code and the call sign of the repeater, what we're listening to, even if we don't look at the display. Yeah, that's another subject, but it's very helpful. It's been around for decades, and we still use that today. We do have other repeater controllers that talk to us, and they'll tell us various things like the time and the repeater trustee's call sign, or at least the call sign on the repeater. So it's all kind of neat, older technology. Most of you guys are probably using one of these. Now you know what they sound like on a commercial radio. And that's not the best speaker I have. It's just a forward-firing speaker on this radio up here. Whoop. Speaker's right there. It's not the one on top. It's the one on the face of the radio. Kind of like a CB. Most CB radios have speakers on the bottom. That one happens to be on the front. There's one down here on the Motorola Astra Spectra down here, and it's mounted to a desk type mount. I'd like to say a hump mount or a transmission mount in some of the older cars. When the automated transmission shifter was on the column, and there was not an open hump, but it was an available hump. And that was when you had a bench seat instead of two buckets with a shifter in the middle and an e-brake, and you also had an open area under the dash, full dash. And there was a time there when they would put in aftermarket air conditioners under the dash. Then they started putting those in the dash with the heater. Then there was under dash 8-track players, FM receivers if you only had an AM stereo or radio in your car. It wasn't necessarily stereo. For a long time there, it was just one speaker, and they started adding speakers in different modes, and then cassette, CD players, and all the entertainment systems that you have now that they've transitioned to. And there was a lot of room between that bench seat and the dash to put one of those CB radio supports with a speaker built into it if you wanted it. And that CB would look up at you, and under it, the speaker would fire up at you too. So that's the way these are set up as well. Yeah, it's a lot of technology they've gone through, and they're kind of similar between the amateur, the commercial, and the CB radios. And some of the GMRS stuff is similar too, with forward firing speakers. So that's the big difference you can tell between commercial, amateur, GMRS. Imagine what these sound like when you're listening to them. Imagine what they sound like when somebody's talking to you with one of these, and you're trying to listen to them with one of these. That tiny little speaker on the front, that's not a whole lot. Something to consider when you purchase a radio. And I've always gone back to the older tech. Yeah, it's a bigger radio. It's heavier. It's actually got a bigger battery pack on the bottom. And it's gotten to a point where the radio itself has a battery on the back. On the newer tech, this one has a great big clip. That metal clip helps me with the, say, the other half of the antenna. That's only half an antenna on top. When you wear that on your belt and use a speaker microphone and you plug it in on top, under that little cover right there, it helps you really get out better and receive better. This is also a metal case, unlike the plastic case on the Chinese radios. This one does not have one, but you can attach a belt clip on the back, and it's spring loaded, but it's also plastic. So I guess there's a little metal on this case, but not nearly as much as it is on that big old 202 I just showed you. So the possibility of extending the range of your antenna, other than changing antennas, this one's original, and this one specifically is 220 megahertz. And that's for the band between VHF and UHF that we use. So it kind of decreases your range. Sure, you can get a foldable Labrie and whatever else you can find and extend your range. I think that's nominal, debatable, but you can do that. You can also add a tiger tail, which is a wire that connects to the outer ring of the connector under the antenna, and that would extend your antenna down as well, the other side of the antenna, like a dipole. So that can help, but that's why I stick to the big old radios when I go portable. They're just better. They do have a hot microphone, which makes me sound louder than these, but I think that's important, because instead of talking into it like this, I could just back off the microphone and they can still hear me. They can hear everything like traffic and background music and PAs and whatnot, but they can hear me better than they can on this thing. These are okay. That's a tri-bander. I only use it for 220 or 1.25 meters, but that's going to be replaced soon. So going to get away from those. I think that they are too susceptible to many things. We already know there's been issues on the other side of the pond, but being software defined, I think they're just susceptible to hacking, which hasn't been proved yet, just like any other computer aided device. And just like your cell phone. I don't think it would take much it's got nothing to do with downloading via RF and the antenna, but when you're downloading upgraded software from your computer to the device. That's what I think. Haven't proved it yet. Hope it never happens, but I think it can. Something else to think of. Anyways, my name's William, call sign K4ARX. You've been watching American Radio X-Ray. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the new members. Share it with your friends. We'll catch you next time. Tomorrow night, actually. 7-3. Best regards.